So for 15, we're told that we have that as x increases from 3 to 5, it doesn't mean the function is necessarily increasing, but we go from 3 to 5, so notice x is increasing. What happens to y, or the output? It's also increasing, but it's increasing by 40%. We see a percentage, we're going to think exponential. Based on this information, g of 5 is how many times as large as g of 3? Okay, so from 3 to 5, we've increased 40%, right? So thinking of that x of 3 was 100%. When we got to 1.5, we are now 140%, right? Because we added 40% to it. So how many times as large is 1.5? Again, we could turn these into decimals. So this divide by 100, so that's 1. This would be 1.4. Or just kind of look at them. 140 divided by 100 means that g of 5 is 1.4 times as large. That's how many times. Assuming the exponential growth, g of 7 will be how many times as large as g of 5? Well, this was 3, 4, 5. That's 2. To get from x equals 5, you go 5, 6, 7. This is a step of 2. So it's another 40% growth, right? Each time you take 2 steps, you're going to grow 40%. And so it's really exactly the same thing. We would say, okay, whatever we had at 5 was 100% now, and when we get to 7, we're 140% of that. It's going to be the same amount. That's how many times as large. If we went to g of 9 is 1.4 times as large as g of 7. So 2 steps equals 1.4. Assuming exponential growth, g of 7 will be how many times as large as g of 3? Well, that's thinking of this, right? We went 1.4 and then we went another 1.4. It's going to be 1.4 squared, because that's 4 steps. 4 steps. So what is that? 1.4 times 1.4, or I'd like a quick way, just square it. 1.96. So 1.96 as large. And from time to time, I've got the answer key here. Just have to get to there. We'll just do a double check. 1.96. And so there are these sort of explanations in here. You can see for the other ones what they ended up doing. They did 14 a little different than I did. I used a natural log. They used a log of 1.4. So they just got it changed into that form. That's okay. My answer's just as good. I followed their directions. I used logarithms. So again, I might not always match up with exactly with what they have, but do a check. If you have any questions, that's what we have class tonight. Have class for. All right. Thanks.